I think that's the biggest thing missing from any training, which nobody would expect it.
That I'm expected to get the best buying conversions.
It's a very high class, high touch service for fairly low price point in comparison to what you're going to get from anybody else.
What's your definition for somebody going successfully through the course?
I want them to be consistently creating content and getting momentum.
I'm dreaming, oh, I believe in this dream I've been dreaming, oh, I'm dreaming, oh, I believe in this dream I've been dreaming, oh.
Marian Asano in the house, about to change my life with his internet marketing strategies. How are we doing?
It's been a
Marian?
while. I don't know, usually it feels like just a few weeks in between, but now I feel like it's been a long time since we've done one of these.
It's supposed to be once a month. So sometimes, depending on my travel schedule, whatever.
Oh, maybe you had 3 weeks in between or something.
Yeah. Sometimes we got to jam them together because I'm away for a couple of weeks or something. But I'm here.
Definitely.
We got Corona, so I'm not going anywhere.
You're definitely not. You don't have places to go now.
This is it. Everything's online. So, okay. So how are we doing? How's the funnels? What's next? Give us the update.
Yeah. So we last call that we had, we were just in the process of changing the newest webinar. We updated. So we basically scaled down at that point a lot of campaigns. The moment we turned it back on, so we had the new one. I think we were, I don't know, around 5 or 6 new students in the program, something like that. However, we didn't scale all the campaigns fully back up because I wanted to see, in terms of supply and demand for what's going on now, I didn't want to go crazy from the beginning. So I wanted to see like how are people consuming the webinar and then buy with what's up now, right? Because it's not necessarily a super high ticket; it's $1,000, but it's still. I wanted to see how people respond. We got a decent response also from you have this slide at the beginning now that you say if you wait until the end, you also get the bonuses. So I wanted to see are people actually waiting until the end to get the bonuses? So we've had some replies regarding that. So I was happy to see that. And then it seems that the YouTube campaign that initially was bringing a decent amount of leads, it's still performing. It's just now time to scale. So I think out of I don't remember exactly because I couldn't log in this kind of few hours ago when I tried to pull some numbers, but it seems that we just changed the login. So I gotta send you those. But we got I think 5, if I'm not wrong, 5 new students in it. But again, it's just a result of not going full scale into the campaigns. The previous one that was bringing leads, it's still bringing leads, which I was super pumped about it. It seems that we don't have a problem there. And out of those, the conversion on the buying process increased significantly because out of the same, we literally just we didn't change anything on the page. We just literally just changed the webinar itself.
Okay.
And we got, so out of, I think it was a 5% purchase conversion, which is super good because it's usually 2 to 3%, something like that. So out of 1,000 people, out of 1,000 leads, 5 bought. So that's a 5%.
No,
it's a
0.5%.
Out of 100, it's hold on, 0.5. You're right. So it's the conversion on the lead side, getting the leads was usually around 20 to 30% on the page. So that's still the same. The buying percentage out of 100 leads was 5. So 5%, yes. So 5% out of 100 leads that jumped in bought. So that was really cool to see because usually the previous one was not even 2%, which usually it's 2 to 3. But going back to 5 was actually pretty good to see.
Cool.
So right now we just we switched. We didn't switch. We just added new. So the way that we were doing targeting on YouTube before was mainly competitor videos that you were interviewed on about YouTube. So obviously, I was expecting to get leads on that. Now we also added a couple new stuff. So you recorded some new ads for funnel hackers. So now we have a way to actually target people that are actually logged into ClickFunnels, which is crazy. I'm not going to get into technical stuff, how that's done. But that one, it's the one that I'm expected to get the best buying conversions, just because it's about traffic. So we can actually target people that logged into the ClickFunnels platform. So it's almost like you would have a pixel install on the page.
And that's already happening, or that's what's happening next?
I don't think it was approved yet. So another thing that we've seen now and I see it on multiple industries actually with a couple of clients, the ads just take a little longer to get approved just because there's not a lot of human to human. But to be honest, I don't really understand why, because it wasn't any human to human. Like nobody was actually touching anything before. But it's a note from Google and Facebook as well, saying that we reduced the personnel. So I mean that one actually makes sense. It just takes instead of 3-4 days. The last one that when we reactivated, we didn't even switch it anything. We just activated the campaign again. It took about a week. Like last time when we talked, we just activated the previous campaign. It took about a week to just go on.
And we're doing YouTube and Facebook ads?
Facebook just retargeting. We don't do any Facebook cold. We just do Facebook. So Facebook just retargeting. YouTube is where we get the new leads in.
YouTube cold, Facebook retargeting.
Yes, just retargeting. Nothing for cold yet. I mean,
yeah, that's cool.
Unless we see that YouTube is not. I mean, the reason that we said, okay, this is the best way is, I mean, it's a YouTube-centric product, and it makes more sense to focus
to be on
there.
YouTube. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and on top of that, we've seen some good results with. We had one retargeting ad on your YouTube channel.
Okay.
Targeting people that are subscribed to you. So that one actually, I liked how it worked.
Oh, so YouTube is cold and retargeting.
Well, retargeting basically people that are already subscribed to you, because that's more of a warm audience for you, regardless if they're, well, no, actually, because they have to be in the United States or Canada, because that's the only two countries.
Oh, so it's not retargeting, but we're just targeting people who are in my community.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, essentially, it's not retargeting. We still do retargeting on YouTube for people that landed on the webinar, but they didn't buy. So we have that one. So people that watched they landed on the page on the webinar, they may have consumed some part of it, but they didn't purchase. We have a retargeting one.
So that's retargeting too.
Yeah, but
YouTube.
The first one, I gotta take my word, but the first one that we target your own subscribers, it's not retargeting. It's just a way to target YouTube channels that have significant amount.
So YouTube is targeting my audience, targeting cold, and retargeting.
Correct. Yes.
And Facebook is just retargeting.
Facebook and Instagram is just retargeting.
Got it. But they came from either my website or they came from YouTube for the retargeting.
So we retarget people that have landed on the webinar but didn't watch. They landed on the registration page, but they didn't purchase. They landed on your website, period. And then we have a couple others. Try to remember now. People that have interacted with some of the videos on the page in the last month, in the last 30 days. So, interactions with people that either watched a true view, meaning a 50-second or more of one of your previous videos in the last month. Or people that have messaged you, things like that. Not super cold. So it's just people that have interacted at some point in time with.
Oh, okay. So it's still not necessarily only retargeting. If they've messaged me or they've interacted with my comments.
We put them out in a bucket, basically, because we send them back to a sales page. We don't send them to an order page. A sales page is, it's the long form page where it's a bunch of different cool testimonials from different people that you work with or stages that you've been invited to speak on, and things like that. So it does even more selling on the page to get them back to the order page.
Can we get, so with the book funnel that we're doing, what we've figured out is we need to get a target cost per acquisition of $28. That's basically what we're targeting. So when it's going just super warm to my audience, it's a little bit under. When we're going cold, it's going to be over. And so like the average, we're trying to get to 28. And then as we learn through the ads, hopefully everything becomes even more cheaper because we've figured out which ads perform the best. And then that allows us to go to a broader audience because we're still trying to hit $28 as a CPA. So if we're way under, then we need to hit a broader audience. If we're way over, then we need to get more efficient with the spend. So now that we're on the book side, just under that, we're increasing the budget. We're testing new creative. We're going after new audiences because we figured out how to hit that CPA, where at the beginning we weren't hitting it at all. Can we do that on the YouTube side? Does it make sense to do that on YouTube? Like right now, I have no idea how much we're spending, how much it costs to bring in a lead, what the conversion is, besides what you say of like 5% of people are buying. Awesome. But like, can we get it down to that of figuring out what our CPA is?
Yeah. So like, if we think about it just from a numbers perspective, essentially, right? Like how much are you willing to spend to get a $1,000 sale? Now, the only reason that we didn't look super specific into the cost per acquisition per one customer alone for this product was we now have it in three different ways, like the payment process. We have a one-time $997. We have 4 payments of $297, and then actually these are the only ones. The $997, and then 4 times $297 if it's a payment plan. So these are the only ones that we talked about different ones, but so far we only had these 2. For the one-time payment, right? Like we can spend up to $250, right? To even more, like up to like almost $500 to acquire a paid customer for a one-time payment, right? In terms of, what are we doing with the ads? All right, if we are getting, let's say let's say it's $10 per lead, and we are under that. If we get 100 leads, that is $1,000, right? So in order for us to be able to get one person to purchase, if we get 5 purchases out of 100 leads to get to pay for this, even if they pay on a payment plan, you're still profitable at this, right? Mm-hmm. Now, the only reason that we haven't looked like super deep into can we get that cost lower than $250 for acquiring a paid customer was we had these payment plan attached to the same thing. We wanted to see what's the best way to even look at it. From now on, yes, because we'll split we'll have the same funnel, but the funnel that goes from the sales page into the order page, it'll go to just one time a payment. And then the one that will go from the webinar to the payment plan, it'll skip the sales page because at that point, we're able to target different campaigns, right? For example, if we are paying $250 for somebody to just pay a one-time $997, that's perfect. We can even go $300 to $400 because what happens is, even one out of, let's say, 20 people also purchase the upsell, which is another $997 for the coaching calls. You're profiting way more on that one. However, for the payment plan, if somebody's paying $250 and they pay a $297, now we have to track it over the next 4 months because it's a little bit different, like the cost per acquisition for somebody right? Because it's maybe the card get declined, maybe they cancel on the 3rd month or whatever, mm-hmm. or right, like it's that stuff. But for the one-time payment, yes, ideally we want to shoot for roughly around $250 to $300 paid customer, right? So far, the leads that go into the webinar are way under $10. So we're good over there. The part with getting leads lower than we want to get them are like super low because, for example, if it's $10 per lead and we get 100 leads, it's $1,000. you only need one person to get your money back out of that, right? Like if it's $1,000. So far, 5 people bought out of 100. That means, you know, it's a 5 times ROI back, because if you spend 1,000 and you're able to spend 5,000 back, if you're able to spend 1,000 and get 5,000 back, I mean, we would spend $1 million until next month, right? Because I mean, the ROI is insane.
Okay,
But we didn't scale it. We didn't scale it so quickly from the last time that we talked, just because we wanted to really pay attention on. We had a couple campaigns that were generating leads a little more on the higher end. So some of them were like $15 to $27. So we completely just removed those. And right now, all the leads that we're getting are like under $10, because the YouTube ad algorithm understood when we create a campaign now, we tell them, give us a CPA, cost per acquisition, per lead, less than $10.
Okay.
So they literally just know now to deliver the ads to the people that are more likely to become a lead under $10, because the algorithm has enough data now to perform that way. So for the leads part, I'm not worried at all about it. We can get we can get thousands of leads for under $10. That was fine. For me, it was just making sure that people that we land as leads now, they purchase at the 5%. I mean, ideally it's, 3 to 4. We got 5 now, so we're good. It's just a matter of now scaling it to the next level, getting, multiplying to different targeting options, and then replicating that with multiple ads. On the leads part, we're good. We got the cost $6 to $8 per lead, so we're super good over there.
Okay, so let's
the
scale.
next step is just getting more, increasing. Right now, I think we're spending roughly around $50 a day on that one, which is not, it's nothing crazy.
Okay, so are we in the 250 to 300 range right now for this? I don't even know what our CPA is. I don't know how to check it. I don't see in ClickFunnels. I don't. Okay,
we're like way under the 250. But again, when we scale that to, let's say, 5x, of course that number will go a little lower.
Yeah, I want to be at. So is that our? Do you know what we are?
That's the goal.
How would I even know where we're at?
So we just need to run, like, if you go into ClickFunnels and run a campaign and run a report from.
I know the revenue, but I don't know necessarily how much everything.
Oh, on the spend side, so it's in Google Ads. I'll send you a breakdown tonight.
Okay. So that's good to know. I mean.
We were under that. It's just now when we scale it, of course, the number will go higher, because that's the way that it works. When you scale it, it won't stay on the same,
So, okay. So my next question for you is, normally when I'm running campaigns and the things in my business, I look at having 25% as the marketing budget. So 25% of revenue goes to marketing budget. And that then allows me to hire a team and all this other stuff, right? This is maybe the same thing or maybe something else. So we'll dedicate up to 40% of revenue for cost of goods sold, which is mostly just team, like services team, but mostly team. Mm-hmm. I would like to hire a full-time program manager to basically not just
community manager type of thing.
Yeah, like customer service, but also staying in touch, following up with them, commenting on their videos, tagging them on posts, like being really heavily engaged. Right now, my assistant, Sandra, is that role of dealing with any emails that come in or booking one-on-ones with people, or we're sending emails out to people to ask them how they're doing, that kind of stuff. But it's very light, where even like, especially these first people, like I want them to get results. Even if you think about the work that we've done and sitting on some calls or Zooms and saying, hey, Marian, like you should try this on your channel. Even having the program manager know about YouTube and training them so that they could provide more, not my level or Jeremy's level, but some support and guidance.
I see what I mean. So they can actually, and you making sure that they consume what's in the course,
Of
and
course.
also come back with feedback on saying like, hey, Evan, I launched these last four videos, but I don't feel like my videos are being suggested on my own channel. What am I doing wrong? Right? Or things like that, right? Like people, when people ask questions, they can ask it even before. It's a once per month live call, right? That you do?
It's a once per month live call. We do every month on I forget which, I think it's the second Thursday or fourth Thursday of every month, where they get access to me. We just actually, no, it's just yesterday. So what is that?
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
The second Thursday of the month. So we did a live, Nicola, who's in Switzerland. He's an Italian guy living in Switzerland. We did a breakdown on his channel and gave him a whole bunch of feedback to help him grow. And everybody got to kind of sit in and watch. So right now, when I do the live streams, my assistant is in the live stream. She's commenting with people. She's saving questions because the stream sometimes happens so quickly. I can't be watching the comments and looking at the screen and talking like all at the same time. So she's pinging questions for me. We have a separate chat where she gets the questions people. If somebody's saying, "Oh, that's so cool. That's so interesting," or great. I don't necessarily need to see that while I'm presenting, but if somebody has a question, she pulls it and gives it to me. So it's fine. For now, it's fine. She's doing it, but she's a super warm, amazing person. She's not a YouTube. She doesn't know much about YouTube. And she's got a bunch of other responsibilities like booking my crazy calendar and everything else. So I'd like to be able to hire somebody who could be part-time to start, but then move into a full-time role.
Full-time
Like, that's all they're doing. And even at the beginning, if it's not enough work for full time, it could even be, hey, just go in and comment on people's videos. Like every student, go watch their videos, give them love, give them comments, subscribe to all their channels, actually. Right? Like even if you don't care about what they're posting, right? I mean, if Nicola's posting about Facebook marketing and you don't care about Facebook marketing, just show him love, right? Just like, hey, you hit your first 3 sentences. Great job, right? Just like, especially at the beginning, people need encouragement and momentum and love. And so I would like to, we either go heavy on the marketing and up the budget to say, okay, instead of 25%, we move to like 40%. Or,
the only reason, and then by the way, I'm just cutting you off for a second there. The only reason that I said that that could be temporary, right? And it doesn't have to be 40%. I just put it as a number in terms of, all right, we're definitely getting leads that are way, under $10, like we said. I wasn't sure how is the buying power right now in terms of like, all the things that are going. Leads, yes, 100%. I just said, we may need to see that. We may not, right? But it's all a matter of like seeing, like looking at the numbers and just seeing how it performs. I may be wrong on the 40%. I just said. So
I create budgets for things, right? I mean, at the beginning, you don't know. At the beginning, whatever, you're just testing a whole bunch of stuff and you see what happens, right? But as we go, so what I'm thinking for this is, because the sales are inconsistent and that like 1 month can be really high, next month is a little bit lower, doing a 6-month rolling average. So over the past 6 months, how much did we sell? And then breaking down a budget for operations and marketing. Especially for me, it's especially if I'm bringing somebody on and that's going to be their role, then that's their job, right? And so if I don't want to hire somebody and then have to let them go 2 months later because we didn't budget properly, right?
No, that makes sense. Yeah. And then even on that side, it can be so much easier for them. Like right now, if it's only, I don't even know exactly how many people, 20 something in there all together, something like that. It's so much easier for that person to manage when it's not right. Like if the person would have come right now and you would have had 1,000 people in it, it would have been hard to keep up directly unless they're coming from a similar background on going and commenting on people's videos and things like that. Right now, it's so much easier for the person to kind of get used to.
And we're not selling this. Like, this is not part of the pitch where you're going to have somebody give you feedback on every video. So anything that this person does is bonus, right? And so we can ease them in of just having them do the customer service and being on the chat and going through the course themselves and learning. And as they have more familiarity, then they could start doing, like they could go and leave a comment on your video. Like if they, if you signed up, you're in there, you're promoting your stuff and you're creating your content, and they left a comment on your video, and then they see that your wife has a channel and they leave a comment on your wife's channel. Like that's going to make you feel amazing. Like even if they don't care about, your wife is doing, eyelash stuff. Like even if I don't care about eyelash stuff, if I left a comment, if somebody went and left a comment and said, "Hey, great to see you here. I love that you're making videos. We love Marian and all his stuff too. You're like husband and wife duo on YouTube. I love it." Right? Like she'd be so happy.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Right. And so it doesn't, and then we can get into, I don't need them to be, they could be first level technical support. The more advanced stuff is come to the monthly hangouts with me or work with Jeremy on, really boosting your channel. Right. But that first line, I think it's mostly just kind of encouragement, and I want to put somebody on it. So, okay. So
that's great.
If we can keep it at, if we can get to 25% and then 40% look at, it's really just one role. I think even as we scale and grow, we may not need 40% for operations. I'm trying to think what other, so normally operations, I think about, well, what else do we add? What else would we put into the course? What new videos would we
require
add?
new resources for you to, it's not a lot. Like that's the whole beauty of it. Unless you add like another call in the month, like for example, Jeremy to do, right? If you feel like, for example, let's say we get 1,000 people in the group and you feel like, hey, 1,000, maybe, for 1,000 people just once a month, if you get 200 people on the live stream, it may be hard for you to take questions. So maybe you want to break it down into 2 calls and say, hey, this month, every 2 weeks we do technical stuff. Like bring your channel on the screen and share your screen with me and show me analytics. And then the other week, you literally just do Q&A without actually sharing screen. That could be something that it may be necessary down the line if it's too many people. Not too many, there's never too many, but too many at once on a live Q&A call that you don't have enough time to answer everybody's question, and people feel like, oh, but I need my question answered. So maybe that, let's say when you reach maybe 500, at that point, we may need to look at it and see. And again, we'll get a feedback from people and say, if people don't complain about it and don't say, or you don't feel like a lot of them are on the live call to ask questions, maybe it's not necessary.
Well, with the book readers group where we have, I don't know, a couple hundred people, I think, in that group already, what we do is we poll. So we'll poll a week before to say, hey, next week is our call with Evan. You've got him for X amount of time. Like, what do you want him to talk about? And then that's what I talk about. And I'll still answer questions around it. We'll still pay attention to the live chat, but people get to vote on what I'm going to talk about, because people's questions can be all over the map. Right?
Yeah,
so so we try to keep it focused based on what most people are interested in. So I guess, we'll do that for this thing as well. That idea of, hey, I could hire Jeremy to come in and do a second call, or I could hire Jeremy to come in 3 times a month and I'm doing once a month, right? Like if I have a budget, I allocate the budget to make the product better. So for YouTube, we make money. I allocate it back into my team to make our channels better and invest in new. That's how I went from 1 channel to like 12 or whatever I've got right now, right? We just keep investing the budget back into new videos, new channels. So I could take the same mentality of, hey, if I have that budget of whatever it is, 40% is what I normally would do. Okay, great. So I'm going to hire a program manager. I'm going to buy Jeremy some time to go in and do a once a week call when I'm not there. I'm going to write and think of other things, even though it's not really a membership where they're paying every month. But I want them to get results, right? I want them to not quit on it. I don't want to just take $1,000 or $2,000 and then they give up and don't do the course. Like most people never do a course anyway. So I want them to if there's somebody kind of following up with them and giving them love.
And side
What-
note to that,
Yeah.
maybe it's cool to put once, maybe even twice a month, to do, let's say Monday, everybody posts their videos into this thread and share what you've posted this week, type of thing. I've seen that in other
Mhm.
places,
Mhm.
because at that point, more and more people within, like, for example, me and Nicola have similar topics,
Mhm.
but other people don't. However, they get to encourage, we get to encourage ourselves in there too. So that could be just like a side
Yeah.
note.
And that's easy to scale, right? Like that could be email, that could be the like posts in
Yeah.
Facebook.
Yeah.
I'm thinking operate, like, where do I need to spend budget to make the experience better for the people who are in the course? So I'm not sure yet. Even for TDS, we look at something similar in that operations is a big part of. We have a studio that costs 5 figures a month just in rent, right? So this is a little different in that it doesn't take a lot to actually it's set
To
up. It
deliver.
doesn't take a lot to deliver and run. But is it better to now spend more on marketing just to get people in and keep it as kind of bare bone operations, or really invest into the operations, get people really getting results, having the follow up and the accountability and all that, because I can throw manpower at it because I'm giving budget to them. That's what, as we scale, I'm starting to think about, because it's easy to manage now, but it's not that full on experience that we could create.
Yeah, and then it's always, have you done any, have you sent any emails to the people in there and just asked this, I mean, not ask this question, but ask maybe, what do you feel you need, that it's missing from the course? Or maybe what do you feel, or what do you need help with the most? And then if 10 people say, well, I really need help with, I don't know, video editing, and maybe you can just,
No, it's just support. Like, it's not content. It's not that, hey, I really wish you talked about whatever, because we can always cover that. I mean, the course covers all the basics and then the advanced stuff as well that I'm working on. And I can keep adding to that as I keep learning and adding more things in. That's fine. We've been doing that. It's not a content thing. It's more an individual issue. Like, I don't know if you saw the thing I did with Nicola yesterday, but he was posting every day for like 100 days or 200 days or something, and then stopped. It hasn't posted in a month, and was struggling to. He was getting results on some, not getting results on others. Didn't know, how to make it work, and so he invested his time more into his digital agency than on creating the content.
Mhm.
And so I did a quick audit on his channel and looked at, hey, a lot of the videos that did well were talking about Facebook and Instagram growth. And the ones that didn't do well were talking about books that he liked to read and how to save money and kind of personal development stuff. And he already has an agency. So if you already have an agency, and the videos that are working are about Facebook and Instagram, like, make videos about Facebook and Instagram that help the agency and get results, at least now, like, at least as a plan for 2020. And then 2021, if you're growing and you're getting momentum, then you can, you can branch out and look at other content as well. So it's just a little bit of strategy on his channel, but also just a personal follow-up. And the follow-up's coming from me, in that my assistant Sandra booked the call. She said, hey, do you want to join Evan on the call next week? He said yes. And so I give a little bit of extra oomph. But I think the biggest thing that is missing from all courses is just a human to follow up and say, hey, how you doing? And seeing if they're actually doing the work, like some actual accountability, because people aren't accountable to themselves.
Oh, so here's what I'm doing in a group similar to this. Every person that signs up gets a one-on-one call. I have a similar roadmap. I don't have it handy, like, the roadmap that you built for YouTube.
Mhm.
And maybe you can have that's an upsell in there for 3. That's an upsell for 3 calls. But essentially, I was thinking maybe maybe not an hour, but maybe a 50-minute enrollment call for a person when they sign up, to actually get them like, okay, let's see where you are here on the map. Let's look at the map and let's see it. Look at the channel. Like submit a form and send it to you. Maybe Jeremy can do that enrollment call with every person that signs up, and pay, at least for the people that pay the full price, not the payment plan. At least, where with that person they can do it on the fourth pay, and maybe give them like specific things, right? Because for example, where I am when I went through the course versus somebody that's at 100K subs, or where somebody that's just starting YouTube, it's a little bit different. The path, it's a little bit different. So maybe a 50-minute call can be, oh, damn, I didn't know that I don't need to spend too much money on production, and I just need to pour content. Maybe a 50-minute enrollment call could be something to test at least, maybe, and see how people respond to it.
I think the biggest thing is still, I look at even the guys that I was in Puerto Rico with last month, huge guys, right? Like they know how to make content. They just haven't committed to doing, a lot of them haven't committed to doing YouTube content regularly. And so I'm pinging them. Like I just pinged 4 of them today to say, hey, what's going on, man? Let me know when you're ready to start the YouTube channel, or when you're ready to take it more seriously, right? Logically, they know it's important. They know it's good for the business. They know they've seen their contemporaries go off and crush it. They just haven't decided that they're going to take it seriously and on a real level. It's not like going to the gym once and working out, right? That's what they're doing. They make a video every now and then and they post it, but they haven't, right? And so it's just the circle of influence. It's just that I'm following up, and they always write back. And sometimes they're ready to go. Like I had a call last week with one guy who's, super well known. And he said, I'm so pissed that like, we haven't done this. I met you last year. You told me about it. You've been, on me every couple months, and like, let's get on a call. I was like on a Sunday, and with his assistant and like, we're ready to go. And so it's that if I wasn't doing it, it wouldn't happen, because
interesting,
they're doing a million other things. Right.
And it's not a priority.
It's not a big enough priority. And I think that's what happens when anybody buys any course. It's not my course, it's any course, or they buy any book. Great. You read a book. How much did you actually implement? Because when you're reading the book, you think about the author. You're like the author. Yeah. I really, when I was reading Russell Brunson ClickFunnels, I was like, yeah, ClickFunnels. And then as soon as you're done the book, you move on to leadership book.
The next one. And then
it's like, oh yeah, leadership. Like, what did you do with the ClickFunnels? Right. But if somebody was, and listen, if Russell was DMing me every day saying, hey, ClickFunnels, like I move a lot faster. But if anybody was just messaging me and say, hey, like if you were on me every week for some ad that I hadn't created or that you needed me to do, I'm going to do the ad much more likely than if it's just up to me and I got 1,000 other things going on. Right. So I think just a really skilled, loving person who can hug people and then also push them when they need a push to just do content and follow the process and not make so many excuses, right? Like Nicola yesterday was saying in the group, well, I haven't made content because I haven't gone to the office because my gear is in the office and Corona, I'm at home. And then halfway through, I was like, yeah, that was just an excuse. I could do it if I wanted to. But that's everybody, right? Like, and he likes talking mindset, right? I mean, everybody has those issues, and it just takes somebody to, I think that's the biggest thing missing from any training, which nobody would expect it. And it's a very high class, high touch service for fairly low price point in comparison to what you're going to get from anybody else. But it means we couldn't spend as much on marketing, but we're crazy delivering on the execution of it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we can also say that with time in terms of, all right, if we're getting, let's say, the next 500 people in the group and not everybody's crushing it, but let's say usually it's like less than 5% that are actually implementing you, like typically in an online course environment, right? It's like less than 5% that's actually implementing it. So if you're able to get, right. And then also, maybe if I would ask you, where do you see success? Like somebody going to the course, when do you feel that they actually implemented what you want them, when they got I don't know, 100,000 subscribers, a million? Like what's your definition for somebody going successfully through the course?
I want them to be consistently creating content and getting momentum. It's an ongoing, there's no like one benchmark to say, hey, when you hit X number of subscribers, but most people in general, like the 5% mark destroys me, that you pay money for this course and then only 5%, like if that's the average,
less. It's usually 2 to 3. It's less than
crazy.
5. Yeah.
But I think with somebody messaging with love, not just, I think you can do some through the automated, right? Like autoresponders, week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, like do this, do that. How you doing? How's it going? Right? Awesome. And some people respond to that, but somebody then actually sending you a personal email or leaving a comment on your YouTube video, or because we're in a Facebook group, like sending them a messenger message to say, hey, just how you doing? I haven't seen you post. I did this to I don't know if you know Ryan Blair. Ryan Blair is like this millionaire in California who I met in at his home in LA last year, I guess. And he shook my hand and said he's going to do 100 days of YouTube videos, and he hasn't even started yet. So I take my phone and I go on Instagram DM and like, Ryan, dude, I'm on your channel. Where are my videos? You promised me. Let's go. Send, right? Now I have, Ryan and I it's okay. I can take that tone a little bit, and it's in play and fun. But just having somebody DM you and say, dude, like, I loved your videos. Where's the next one? That little bit of encouragement could be the thing that gets you through the course, but then also success is creating regular content. Like as long as it's still as long as you still want to be a thought leader, as long as you still have a mission and a message and you want to get it out there and use that to grow your business, then you should be making at least weekly content. And so weekly momentum is what I'd be looking at as a benchmark for success. And anytime they fall off, like I don't care if you built 100,000 followers or subscribers and then you stop, it's like that's a failure, right? Like I let you down. Like you need to be, as long as it's still part of your goals, right? Like if you sold your business and moved to Africa or whatever, okay, great, awesome. But if you still have ambitions to do this and you just gave up for some reason, it could be they got bored of the content or like lots of different reasons.
But I think it's also maybe I think it's also the fact that if people would create, or they would look at the content creation as being integrated in their business model, so they would actually bring them leads and customers. Mm-hmm. I think they would maybe also look at this different than just, okay, because you just said something that triggered this. You said maybe that person sold their business. Cool. They don't need to create videos about that, but they can still create videos about, that process of selling the business, right? So that it's also maybe like, what's the reason that you creating those videos, and how can you kind of incorporate it into your business model so it actually brings, because once you understand, like, okay, it brings me leads and sales. Like for example, if and I mean there are people that are coming organically as well, but if let's say somebody would sell any kind of service or a product, and every video that we create, it brings $200 in sales, for example, all of a sudden, right, they would never stop those videos. They will always create the videos because they bring sales back. So I think it's also kind of how and I know you talk about this in the course, like I think you have a module about how to create a lead gen process within your video, and
the content is there. It's the support. And because YouTube is the place where the content lives the longest, but it also then takes the longest to start building momentum. Where ads, you can turn it on and boom, you start seeing, maybe you're spending too much, but at least you're seeing momentum. Like, oh, we got a sale. Oh, it cost us 5 times more than it's worth, but we got a sale at least, right? Something's happening.
Yeah.
YouTube is the longest cycle to start to win. And so I think people will doubt and question themselves and get frustrated multiple times along the path, and having somebody be there for them, like, yes, for each other, be part of the group. We're posting, we're sharing stuff, but to have somebody from as we scale, it can't be me and it can't be Jeremy, but you know, as long as it's in the world, it's better than not having anybody. Right?
Yeah, no, that's so true. And also, because I was talking this with my wife the other week, like she just launched a course for her business, and now I said, like, whatever videos you create on YouTube, it just has to be part of your teaching, but you just teach the strategy, and then your course teaches the rest. So then now she knows that, okay, if I create a video, the leads that are coming from there are more likely to buy the product that she's selling. So it makes so much more sense for her now to just pump more videos, because she just knows that he has another shot at making sales. So it's, yeah, I guess
All right.
It's a matter of just a few months to figure out the fine line between, you know, how many people are able to get in and still be able to, and either you or Jeremy be able to follow up with them regarding implementing.
Well, okay. So in the next month, so I'm still not certain on where we need to be between the percentages, but somewhere between 25 and 40% of revenue into sales and marketing. Can we get a better handle on that in the next month from the?
Yeah, what I was
expansion?
thinking, I think for the next month, maybe I can do a share screen and walk people through. All right, these are the campaigns that are generating this amount of leads at this cost, and then maybe you can do like an actual thing for kind of to be more like to show numbers and stuff.
Okay.
If that's cool with you, we can do
Sure.
that, and then that's kind of we'll bring more like more light to the numbers and the way that they work.
I'll learn too. All right. Sounds good. So I'll look at the numbers too. And after this, shoot you a Facebook to see where we're at.
Sweet.
Okay. Thank you,
Awesome,
Marion.
man.
Appreciate you, man.
See you in a couple of weeks.
Yes, sir.
Take care.
If you want to see the last time Marion and I connected and he pushed me to build a better marketing funnel, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.